I read a book that tells about how to influence people or like win people over. And what I saw was a really interesting topic that I haven't really thought about is that people usually think they're right and there's no other answer. They aren't open to any kind of answers. They just think they're right. And it opens with a story about a murderer who always thought like, yeah, I did the right thing. I did the right thing. And then tells about another guy who did another heinous crime. They think that, oh, I did the right thing, or either they don't care about it. So, in influencing people, you got to know that whatever you guys are talking about, they'll be very defensive if you go straight to it. Like, hey, you did this, that's bad. And people, they don't even care if they're right or wrong. They're going to be defensive either way. They're going to say, oh, okay, what's it to you? Oh, smart ass. Oh, jackass. Something like that. People are going to be mad. So what do? We talk about it. Talk about their point. We're not going to point how wrong it is. Let's just let them talk about it and just ask question and question and question until they themselves can figure it out. And if they are still denying it to that point, don't even bother, like having a fight. Because most people I see, even though it is very pointless and it will ruin their day unnecessarily, they will argue over stupid people every day. And it's not like an important discussion, it's like online discussion, Twitter, people on the street. That'll be like useless, like fighting. Not even factual, just like petty at that point. Literally, they're just making faces and say, "Oh, fuck you, me." They just be like that. Don't add fuel to the fire. Just don't even like acknowledge it. Honestly, it's a waste of your time. It'll just make you have a bad day. Just stop arguing to people that don't even care if they're right or wrong. They just want their point, and if they're closed-minded, you know, that's their decision. For me, I try to be open-minded at all times about everything. Everything. Because as growing up and working on yourself, you realize you think you have the answer. But then you realize you don't. And over again until you get humbled and to know that you actually know nothing. You actually know nothing. And I'm pretty okay with that. What I know is I know nothing. Because I learn something new every time, or like reconstruct an ideal or a philosophy that I have, or a way of thinking. Every year there's this new way of thinking that I have. So whatever I say this year, I maybe have different opinions next year. Because that's how evolution goes. I'm open to everything. I've been humbled a lot, like fighting for a ideal or a mindset that, you know, doesn't even work that much. So I'm pretty used to being wrong. But sometimes I get it right, but I find another way of getting it right because there's a lot of perspectives on one thing. There's not like one, there's like a million. And by that, I like add on to it to my own original point. And that's how it goes. I'm open. If you want to influence people, you need to be, open to everything and be influenced. To be interesting, you need to be interested. Because the thing is, all the books about like seducing people and how to make yourself interesting is just making yourself interested in everyone. It's not that you're very interesting, it's that you make the people around you feel interesting. And by that, you kind of look interesting because you're surrounded by a bunch of people that are interesting, or like are always hanging out with you because you make them feel like they're interesting people, because that is fact. You can learn something from everybody. Doesn't mean that everybody's right about something. You can learn about their mistakes. So if you meet someone you hate, you'll probably learn a lot from them. And I'm not saying that you should be their friend, but you should at least re-examine what mistakes they made. Why do you hate them so much? And what caused them to be like that? And maybe you could like figure something out so you don't end up hating yourself, or find out someone that has that but you don't want to hate them. Maybe you could like compromise, talk to them, figure it out, hash it out, you know? So yeah, that's influencing people and being interesting. There's like little stuff you need to do, like always remember a name. If you always remember everyone's name, because name holds a power, it's yours, it's given to you. So every time you call somebody by their name, it actually means a lot. If you do it consistently, it'll mean a lot. So that's one thing. Two is always be interested. Everybody is interesting. All the people have interesting stories. Be interested and listen to them, and actually give meaningful feedback to the stories as you're interested. I didn't struggle to do that because I was an insider for so long that people fascinate me. Like the way people think, the way people talk, the way people like do things. I'm interested. So it isn't hard for me to ask, like, oh, really, you do this? How does it feel like that, like that, like that? Like, ask them from a perspective, or like add on to the conversation. Third thing is don't fight anyone. Don't fight meaningless fights. Don't add fuel to the fire. It's better for you to like avoid it overall if it doesn't really cost you anything. Avoid fights. If you think they're wrong, they're entitled to their opinion. We're, we're humans. We have freedom. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Because everybody is defensive whether they're right or wrong. You will only meet small percentage of people that are actually open to everything, open to discussion, and open to the debates, not actually debating, actually like interested, like, oh, you think this is wrong about my thing? Can you please explain? Like an actual adult conversation, which is something that you won't really find at this day and age. Yeah, that might suck a little bit, but we lock in, we go through, we you know? Yeah. So yeah. So always be interested. Always like know their names. That's important. The names. Look at them in the eyes. Your body language is everything. I'm always talking about that. Always be aware of your body language, not to the point of anxiety. Like, am I doing my eyes? No, just look at them in the eyes. I do weird things. I don't have social anxiety anymore. Sometimes I like look at them like I look at them like this, like yeah, and see if they'll budge. Yeah, you can just look in the eyes. Look at me right there. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Uh-huh. Had a nice day. Huh. Is that new for you? Or um maybe yeah, see, that helps a little bit. But it matters. So when you're like teaching someone something, or at least arguing, I don't know if this is manipulative or not, but it's the most effective way without, starting like a fight is make them think that they reached to that conclusion. Make them think that, oh, they thought of that, but actually, you planned it all along. I don't think it's manipulative, but to do that, you need to let go of your ego. Because whenever you teach something like that, you want to feel the ego like, I teach you, I'm smarter than you. You gotta let go of that ego. You gotta let go of ego overall. Ego is enemy. Ego is pain. Ego is gonna be the death of you. So just let them think that they reach their answer and just live your merrily way. The positive things is, hey, you helped the guy. Even though they don't know it, hey, at least, no, you don't need to let anybody know it. And if you do that consistently, people will actually catch on. So when they find that out, you'll look like a saint. So better stop letting your ego do the work. Let you do the work. Be authentic. That's always a given. Authentic. Don't create a fake persona. Just be yourself and be yourself confidently. Maybe tweak it a little bit so you can be socially engaging, and if you cuss a lot, maybe don't cuss a lot. Smart little things. Just the essence of you, like the way you talk, walk, and stuff like that. I'm an awkward guy. I'll never change that. I like making things uncomfortable, like uncomfortable situations. It's my thing. It's very funny to me. Not in like a harassing type of way, more like a sitcom humor type of way. I love it. If I was in the office, I would be a great character. So yeah, this video is about, if you want to influence people, you gotta be likable and you gotta be interested in people. Because if you don't care about people, you're not really connected to the people, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's it for this video. Chris Kilain signing off.